mostly are pioneers in everything that they do. So, AI also is something that they're pioneering in.
How is the job market right now of UAE, and what's trending, and what could be some of the go-to resources people can use?
It is easy to get blinded by the Dubai Bling. So it's always important to stay grounded because you should always, spend for the income that you make and plan for the income that you want. Especially for women, it's important that, they know what they want and they always prioritize themselves because, you don't have any fallback option here. You can't really manifest something if you yourself are not aware of what you want. There is still no income tax in UAE. What I heard last was Oman was going to be introducing income tax from 2028. Maybe the other GCC countries may follow, but as of now, there isn't any news on that. A global melting pot where you have people from nationality coming from all over the world.
Hi everyone, welcome to my show Talk with Nesh. I'm Neha Sharma, and on this channel, I bring to you stories of resilience, reinvention, and rediscovery. In today's episode, we have a conversation with Priyanka, who's a chartered accountant who moved to Dubai 15 years ago and has successfully built a career for herself in the banking sector. Let's learn more about real life in Dubai away from all the glitter. So, if you are interested and curious to learn more about the job opportunities that exist in UAE, in Dubai, or you just want to learn from her journey of navigating a demanding career while being a working mom of two, then this episode is for you. So, hi everyone, let's welcome Priyanka on the show. Hi Priyanka, how are you?
Hi Neha, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining. So, if you could just start with a very brief introduction about yourself to all our viewers today.
Sure. So, my name is Priyanka Duvekar, and I'm a qualified chartered accountant and LLB, and I also hold a BCom degree. I started my career with PricewaterhouseCoopers in India for about 2 years. From there, I moved on to a corporate finance investment banking role. And then I moved to the UAE in 2014, and I've been in the UAE since. And I'm largely in part of the banking sector. I'm a banking professional in the UAE.
Great. So, welcome again. So, we're really excited to know more about your journey and particularly in Dubai, so the career transition that you. But let's start by first understanding like what really inspired you to, start and make a career in CA. So, what was that inspiration for you?
So actually, I recollect when we were in Mumbai, we had gone for a wedding, and the bride's brother was actually a CA, and he was, the talk of the town, and everybody couldn't stop raving about, how well he's doing and how much money he's minting. So that sort of was an inspiration because at that time, I was a young girl in college, very ambitious. I wanted to earn a lot of money and I wanted to earn quick money. Of course, nobody talks about the struggle. When people talk, they only talk about the success, but they don't talk about the struggle that goes into the success. So I thought, okay, this is going to be a cakewalk and I can also do this. And that's how I started. And luckily, everybody around me was quite positive and motivating. And though CA is one of the most toughest exams in the world, I think the pass percentage is only 1%. But because of people's motivation around me, I, ensured that I completed it.
Amazing. So after you completed your CA, so what were like the kind of company that you worked for? So what was like your work experience in India?
So I started with the PricewaterhouseCoopers, and again that was driven mostly with the intent of earning money. So I remember I asked my brother and my friends, how can I earn a lot of money? And they said that, why don't you try for valuations and strategy? And then from there move on to a private equity role. So that's when I got the opportunity. I was lucky enough that PwC had an opening there, and I think working with PwC was at the beginning of my career really enhanced my professionalism as such because the organization it demands professionalism, so that was really it grooms you in a way that it's not just about the earning but also about the learning. So that was a great skill to have right at the beginning. And then from there, I moved on to a corporate finance sort of investment banking role where I thoroughly enjoyed myself because, there was a lot of freedom given. There I was more, it was just myself who was running the show independently on certain parts of the entire deal transaction. So it gave me a great exposure.
Okay, great. So it's really, great understanding your experience and particularly what you talk about earning and learning, and also your career in corporate finance and
Right.
banking that you made a transition. So let's dive deep into the transition that you made, like across countries, right, from India to Dubai. So this opportunity that came for you, how did that materialize?
So actually, again, I think in my life things have just sort of opportunity has knocked, and I have just sort of jumped on it. I've not waited or pondered. So luckily, there was we were thinking of moving out of India just to get a more global experience. It was never to sort of move out to settle, but just to enhance our qualification professionally. To get that experience of a global experience. And that's where and luckily something in UAE worked out for my husband. So he moved here and I moved with him. And it was actually quite a good move. I think it was one of the best decisions we made.
Okay, great. So when you moved to Dubai, okay, so I really want to understand how did you get a job? Because getting the foot in the door or that first job is always very important in a new country. So what was your strategy to, start your career there?
You're absolutely right on that aspect. Getting a job in a new country, it's not as easy as people might think it is because you don't know anybody, and most importantly, nobody knows you. So you have to start from scratch. The other thing that I used to hear a lot when I was looking for jobs was that you don't have any UAE experience, which is like a chicken and egg story, because until you work, you will never get that experience. So it was quite challenging, but something that I understood in the UAE very quickly was that connections make all the difference. So even if people don't know you, but they know you by face and they want to sort of, you have interacted with them and they feel that yes, there is certain skills that you possess, they would definitely help you out. So for me, what I started off with was that since I'm a CA, I joined the CA chapter. We have a CA chapter both in Abu Dhabi and in Dubai. So I joined the Abu Dhabi CA chapter because at that time we were based out of Abu Dhabi. And I used to, they have regular meetups and conferences. So I used to make it a point to attend those and I used to make it a point to socialize with people, and tell them that so that they have a face to the name and sort of give them a background about myself, what my interests are. The good thing is that when I moved here, I was very clear what sort of industry I want to be in, and I wanted to be in the banking industry. So obviously, when I would interact with people, I would make that very clear because that is also important. If you are confused about what you want in life, you cannot really expect people to understand or give you options.
Okay. That's really good. Like some of the points that you mentioned, having clarity in terms of what kind of job or industry you want to pursue. And also, then, so let's talk a little bit about the work culture. So, how is the work culture of Dubai? And since what has been your learning so far?
So the work culture has been changing drastically over the years. So when I joined in 2014, the culture was much more, there was more of a work-life balance, and the culture was more of, focused on the employee engagement. Not that it isn't so today, but the thing is that banking as a sector, especially after COVID, has become extremely competitive. Although the population is increasing and the number of the companies are increasing, number of people are increasing, but at the same time, the profits that the bank want to make is also, the targets are increasing. So naturally now there are only two ways to achieve a profit. One is that you grow your income stream, and two is that you reduce your cost. So obviously both of these two things entail smarter work, harder work, and it has sort of changed after COVID. Of course, Big Fours, their work culture is completely driven, and it is, it's different in terms of that it is much more challenging. Banking is as well, but it is not to that extent. I think now the because of this transition that is happening in the workspace, of course you have more people coming in, so you have that much more supply so of labor or workforce, so obviously there is that competition also that comes in. But having said all of this, the standard of life that the UAE offers is very different.
I see. So, let's talk a little bit about your role banking. So you mentioned that a lot of things are changing. So your role would have changed, which you just mentioned. How has it changed? And also, if you could just shed some light about AI coming in and how that has changed the banking space, and particularly in Dubai.
So basically, AI is UAE as a region is extremely supportive of AI. UAE mostly are pioneers in everything that they do. So AI also is something that they are pioneering in. However, I believe that there has to be a balance, because when we try to, when, like, a baby is born, they first learn to turn, then crawl, then walk. It's the same way with any new change that happens. If you try to run from day one, it's not going to work out. So, in fact, I would like to share that there was a bank who had got their first robot, and that did not really, it was not a success as such, because at the end of the day, people still need that human touch. Especially for the frontliners in banking, people want to sort of interact with somebody. When you call on the helpline, you have two options. Either you go through the phone, banking numbers. Okay, for this press one, for this press two, or you can skip right to speaking to the customer care executive. And I think most of us still do that. We prefer, yeah, we prefer to speak to people, being people. So definitely AI will be coming in, but I think that is more on the back office operations, which are much more, simpler, automated. They don't really require human touch or, the skill of talking. But I think for the frontliners, and I'm in the a part of the frontline. So for the frontliners, I think that transition is going to be much later on, or maybe never. So definitely the UAE, it is transitioning into the AI in within the banking sector, but it's more on the back office.
I see. So it's more like back office and maybe repetitive jobs.
Yes, exactly. Correct.
Got it. So, how is the job market right now of UAE? And so, what I really want to understand is that what kind of websites people can use to make an application. You mentioned the chapter, right? What kind of skills, what kind of qualifications, what's trending, and what could be some of the go to resources people can use?
So there are a lot of websites. Of course, LinkedIn is the number one, where people can reach out for jobs. Then there is a website called Dubizzle, where they do advertise or put up job listings. In the banking sector, of course, these you will get jobs related to the banking sector on these websites. And then if any person has any specific bank in mind, because there are a lot of banks here, it's best to sort of go on their website and follow them on LinkedIn, as well as reach out to them through their job postings on their individual website. So you'll have for Standard Chartered, you'll have for Emirates NPD, you'll have for CBD. They're on their websites there are. But having said that, I do also want to say that the job market is quite challenging, especially for somebody coming from outside. The other thing is that the UAE, they like to maintain a mix. They don't want to be concentrated only on one nationality. So they like to maintain that mix. So every organization needs to maintain that mix, of people. So within the job posting as well, there are certain considerations that go in. As far as qualification is concerned, every job posting, depending on the requirement, will have their own job qualification requirements. For example, for an auditor, you will have certain audit related qualifications. qualifications that are required. If it's, for the frontliners, it's mostly CAs, CFAs, ACCAs. But I think if somebody is serious about coming and moving to the UAE and is looking for a job, it's your connections. It ultimately boils down to your connections because your CV is one in 1,000. What sets you apart? What is making you different? So when the job posters get these CVs, they have so many people reaching out to them on a personal level. Until and unless they have a face to the name, it's a bit difficult. And having said that, it's not just about having a face to the name, but also bringing out what is different about you, why you are better than the other CA. So it's all about establishing that connections and putting yourself out there. You have to socialize in the UAE market.
I see. That's really some incredible advice. So, my understanding and takeaway is that it's a very connection based, relationship based market, right?
Yes.
So, I now want to talk about like the tax also. That's just one, very brief overview, if you could say. So,
So yes, so basically earlier when I came to this region, there was no tax at all, and then they came with the VAT, which was about 5%. It doesn't really have a great impact on your overall purchases on an when you're purchasing individual items because 5% isn't much. And now they have introduced corporate tax. So there is still no income tax in UAE. What I heard last was Oman was going to be introducing income tax from 2028. Maybe the other GCC countries may follow, but as of now, there isn't any news on that. But corporate income tax corporate tax is applicable now, in the UAE for the companies. They need to pay that, yes. In Saudi, it has been there for some time, which is called zakat. So now this is going to be the first year where companies are going to be paying corporate tax. So it'll be interesting to see how this dynamics changes the bottom line and the way the financials are reported. So that would be something interesting.
great. Thanks for sharing that. So let's talk a little bit about life in Dubai overall. So how is your social life? How's the lifestyle, that one can have in Dubai? And let's talk like beyond the glitter that we see on screen. So how is the real life in Dubai?
So the good thing about the UAE is that it offers something for everybody. You can be, middle income group, you can be the high income group, you can be the super rich, and it will offer something for everybody. You can live frugally or you can live extravagantly. It's your choice. So I think from that perspective, that is one great thing about the UAE. You can choose your own lifestyle. You don't need to be bound by, or it's not dictated to you that, oh, because you are part of the UAE or you're a resident of the UAE, you have to maintain this lifestyle. No, it's absolutely upon you. It is easy to get blinded by the Dubai bling. So it's always important to stay grounded because you should always, spend for the income that you make and plan for the income that you want, not the other way around. A lot of people, they spend for the income that they want, and that's where the problems start. So this is something which is great about the UAE. From a security point of view, it's one of the most safest countries, and I have traveled to a lot of other countries, so I can tell you that it's one of the most safest countries. You could be in a cafe, forget your phone on the table, place your order, finish your food, and come back, and your phone will still be there. So, from a safety perspective, it's a great country to be in. And the best thing about the UAE, or one of the great things about the UAE, is also that you have a lot of Indians here. You have a lot of other nationalities here. It's a global melting pot where you have people from nationalities coming from all over the world. In my children's school, there are more than 52 nationalities. So, yes, and the amount of cultural diversity that the children are exposed to, it is amazing. I don't think that you can get this sort of cultural diversity anywhere else in the world.
Wow, that's amazing. So a melting pot, right?
Yes.
You spoke about children. So you're a working mom, managing two kids. So I want to understand like about maternity leave. So how was that process for you? Like getting back to work after maternity leave is usually very challenging for women. How was that for you in Dubai?
Yeah, so it is here. The maternity leave is not much. It's about when I was working, I got 45 days. So it's not much if you compare it to other European countries. But having said that, the good thing about the UAE is that you can get house help. It's pretty much similar to what we have in India. So you are privileged enough to be able to get house help if you want to go back to work. The other thing is, of course, you can always have your parents. So what we did was we had a house help and we had parents shuttling, parents and in-laws alternating. And now, of course, we have a full-time live-in, somebody who lives with us and takes care of the house and the kids. It's not challenging because to raise children, you need a village. I mean, let's be honest about that. And you are not obviously in your home country where you would have access to your friends, your family, your parents. That of course so it does get challenging at times. But this is where the real adulting comes in, and that's where you realize that you this is part and parcel of life, especially if you want a family.
Important, particularly for a
Right.
woman to get back to the corporate field or whatever work she's pursuing. So to get back, into corporate, was it easy for you to find a job? How was that phase
So
for you?
again, to get back into corporate, it was not easy because my break sort of pushed me back down to the level where I had started. Because again, it was like, oh, you've been out of the market for so long. Because my role is extremely market driven. Being the frontliner, I'm the one interacting with the customers. So it was sort of that, okay, you've been out of the market, nobody knows you. So I had to start again from scratch. The good thing is that because again I was able to enter back into the market because of my connection. So again, the people I had worked with were more than happy to have me back, but at a lower level. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is what we always hear, right? And that is what is truly challenging. And that is what really, means like breaking the barriers. And just before we wrap up, I want to get some advice for you for people who are probably thinking of making a move from, India to Dubai or want to start a job or a business. So do you have like any advice for them?
Sure, definitely. So I think the most important thing first is to sort of visit the country and understand how the country is and if they are comfortable moving their family and living here, because not everybody likes every place. I know of people who moved here but they miss their family back home and their friends back home to such an extent that they moved back. So while yes, there is a lot of glitter and charm in the UAE and it offers you safety and security and a lot of other things. But sometimes not everybody wants the same thing. The other thing I think, what I would say, especially for women, it's important that they know what they want and they always prioritize themselves because you don't have any fallback option here. It's basically you will be the one taking care of the house and the children most of the time. And it's very important that whoever is moving here to the UAE, they know what they want as well, because you can't really manifest something if you yourself are not aware of what you want. So it's always important to prioritize what is important to you and then work towards that. And the third thing I would say definitely is your connections. You have to go out there and connect with people. You have to market yourself, as they say, and socialize. You have to socialize. And not just with people from your country, but, across the globe, as in with people from across the globe within your industry.
Wow, amazing. That's really some incredible advice, especially like socializing, getting out of your comfort zone. So, thank you
Exactly.
so much. It's really great to hear from you and your wonderful insights and your journey that you have shared. And you've been able to build a home for yourself away from home and an incredible career in banking and particularly getting back after maternity leave. So thank you again, Priyanka. Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your.
Thank you so much, Neha, for having me. I really enjoyed this conversation. It just felt so seamless and great.
Thank you. I really hope that you found value in the conversation. Thank you so much for watching us till the end. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please do comment and let us know if you want any other guest on the show. And please share this with someone who needs to hear this. I always believe that you do not have to look far for inspiration because there are so many incredibly inspiring stories all around us. Because as they say, that no one else sees the world the way you do, so no one else has the stories to share that you have. Thank you.